And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host. I am so excited to host the incredible Reece Witherspoon Book Club pick, New York Times bestselling, about to become a movie. My friend and fellow fur baby mom, Andrea Bartz, here to tell us all about her brand new red hot book, We Were Never Here. Andy, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Yay, thank you so much for having me on. My cat just started like swirling around my feet. So if you see me doing this, it's because I'm petting her by my ankles. Hopefully she hangs out long enough for, oh yeah, she's comfy under there. So thank you so much for having me on. This is so fun. We go way back. I've been such a fan of Sara and Murder by the Book. This is amazing. But yeah, We Were Never Here. It came out August 3rd. And it is a thriller that's about two globe-trotting best friends who, on the trip of a lifetime through Chile, kill a backpacker in self-defense. And here's the really wild thing. It is not the first time that one of their trips has ended in bloodshed. So it is different from my other books, which are whodunits. This is a thriller where you know exactly who done it from the start. And it's sort of about, the friendship being stretched to the limit as they try to, evade law enforcement, go on with their lives, and put their lives back together as their friendship is really begins to crumble from the inside based on what they've done. So it was, as you said, a Reese's Book Club pick for August, which was very, very thrilling. It's somehow incredibly hung out on the New York Times bestseller list for many weeks. And it is hopefully a just really fun read for a lot of people.
Yay! And not somehow, Andy. This book has hung out on the New York Times bestseller list because people are loving it and because you wrote an incredible book that hooked us good. And I cannot wait to get into every single tasty detail of it. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching with us tonight. Welcome everyone who's watching on Facebook. Welcome everyone who's watching on YouTube, who's watching on my channels, who's watching on Murder by the Books channels, who is wherever you're watching from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you. If you've been here before, you know how this works. And if you're new, here's how it works. Every Monday for hashtag Mystery Monday, because Mondays can be murder. I give you my hand-picked featured authors and you get to ask them anything. So ask Andy about We Were Never Here. Ask her about her writing process. Ask her about that last line. We already have someone who wants to know. We got a lot to talk about. Let's dive into it. Get the questions going in the comments. I'll get them right over to Andy. And I want to introduce my co-host tonight. This is Pelu the Wonder Pup. And she's wagging her tail excitedly, ferociously digging her teeth into this and sinking her teeth into this new book. She's always digging up the best reads. And she is excited to co-host and chat with, there she is.
There she is.
Mona. Kitty.
Who hates being held. So she doesn't even normally tolerate it quite this long. But, she is very pro-literacy. She's always very, look at her feet. Look at her.
Oh my God, her little tiny pink toe pads. I love it. So
she's like, get me out of here. But she loves books. She loves sleeping on them. She loves leaning against them. So she's very pro-literacy as well. And for those of you, Pelu, her Instagram friend.
Exactly. And both Pelu and Mona are on Instagram. Pelu's also begging for freedom. So everyone I'm popping the link into the comments right now. So you can follow Moni the Rescue Kitty and Pelu the Wonder Pup on Instagram for more puppy and kitty cuteness, because I know that's what you're really here.
What your life probably needs. Yeah.
What you're really here for. Exactly. Okay, so let's get right into it. Colleen is saying she just finished reading We Were Here. She loved this book so much. Yay, Colleen. Welcome. Tell us what you loved about it in the comments. Get into the details, girl. Tell us what you loved. Let us know. She's saying hello from Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, let me know where you're all watching from. So, Andy, you're in New York. I'm in Boston. We've got people all over. Let us know. George is saying 3 in 1 day. What? Good evening. Yes, indeed, George. You know it. Today is 3 Hot Book Monday. I just made that up, but I'm going with it. And he says, now we're talking, George.
Right
Always
on.
have you. Thank you so much. Leslie is saying hello from Canada. Her signature Canadian hello. I love it. Hey, Leslie, always great to have you. Sally's watching from Westland, Michigan. Welcome, Michigan. Welcome, Sally. Great to have you here. Colleen is saying that last sentence. Oh my God, Andy, we got to talk about that last sentence.
We'll talk about it.
Oh my God, so much. Debbie saying Biblia cats are the best. Mona the rescue kitty, the Biblio cat. She wants to know
Classic
what
Biblia
brand
cat.
Palu is. So Palu is from Texas, y'all, which is perfect because we're with Murder by the Book in Houston. So Palu's from McAllen, Texas. She's a rescue mutt. She is a Yorkie, Chihuahua, Shih Tzu, Mini Poodle, and 24 other breeds. I did her DNA. I swabbed her little cheek and sent it in, and it's so fun. Colleen is saying, I couldn't keep track of who was good and evil in the book, and she's wondering now if both were a mixture. Andy, give us the skinny, good and evil. Are they a mixture? What was your vision? What do you think?
That's a great question. So I am what's known in the writing world as a pantser. I write by the seat of my pants as opposed to plotters who figure out an outline first and start writing. So I always knew that Emily was my protagonist because she was my narrator. She was going to be the person that I went on this journey with. But that's kind of all I knew. So as I was writing some of the twists and turns from the book, and I think we're having a no spoilers discussion, so I'll try to avoid that. But some of the twists and turns in the book and moments where maybe your alliance changes or sort of interpretation of what was going on changes were surprises to me as well. I think with all of my books, nobody is good and nobody is evil because that's a totally different kind of book. That's like some fantasy kind of stuff, right? And I write psychological thrillers, and I want my characters to be all of them, the protagonist and the villain or whatever you want to call them. I want my whole cast of characters to be believable and hopefully relatable, and in the sense we like understand why they did what they did, even if we don't agree with their choices. And so in that sense, like, no, I don't think either one is totally good or totally evil, because I don't think any people are totally good or totally evil, with maybe a few tiny exceptions. But like, even then, I think there's just a lot of hurt underneath that's making them very mean or cruel. So I think they are, like all people, a big combination in doing their best in difficult situations. Obviously, these two characters started out in an extremely difficult situation with a dead body on their hands. And hopefully they are sort of complex and layered enough that we can just reduce them to like the good one, the bad one.
Yeah, exactly. And was it hard for you to write that multi-layered, very real, believable, we're all a little good, we're all a little evil. Not all of us have killed a backpacker. Don't you just hate when that happens, but or happens multiple times and multiple. Yeah, seriously. Was that hard for you to create those multi-layered characters, Andy?
It really was. I think the last thing that kind of came into place, I figured out the general arc of the plot on the first, not the first draft, because the first draft is a big old mess, but sort of in that first general like forming of this is a manuscript I can show people. But what took a really long time to come together was the dynamic of the two women and really understanding their relationship and how it changed in different points. And sort of what different worldviews they were bringing to the same scenarios, what different interpretations of events. And that, I had to sort of sort out how are both of them feeling about the other and about what they've done and what happened in these different points, and sort of watch how it evolved. So it just took a lot of rewriting and a lot of, starting over with these pages of dialogue and like, okay, that wasn't right. What would be right now? How are they really both thinking and feeling? Because for me, the question of like, are your characters likable, which is something we talk about for some reason with books that women write, is not that interesting to me. I don't need to like a character personally to connect with them, but I do need to feel for them and understand why they made the choices that they made. And so that was a lot of sorting through, all the psychology, right? Again, it's a psychological thriller. So like what has happened within their friendship? What is the family situation they're both coming from? What are the life experiences that shaped them? And just constantly tweaking and tinkering and fine tuning to try to have these characters' personalities and just sort of like approaches to life and to relationships shine through and feel consistent and feel true, even though, and sorry if you can hear that siren, even though, you know, this is a
Somebody
book.
else may have killed a backpacker. We're hearing that.
I know, who knows? There could be a dead backpacker right out there on the BQE. Even though this is a scenario that hopefully none of us will find ourselves in, but it's sort of where you can sort of see why these characters behave the way they did.
And I think you did that so deftly, Andy, so deftly and so realistically that's what one of the many things that people are really resonating with this book. I mean, if you've read the book, let us know in the comments. What are y'all thinking? George is saying he's watching from Houston with Murder by the Book. Yay,
Love
George.
it.
Holly is watching from Atlanta. Holly, welcome. Great to have you tonight. Susan is watching from Spokane, Washington, along with her Maine Coon cat, Harold. Maine Coon cats are the ones that have 6 toes, I think. A dear friend of mine, Jessica, is from Maine, and she has a Maine Coon cat, and I love her cat so much. That is so cool. Sharon saying she's watching from Minnesota, and she won this book. Oh, that's so cool. She says she can't wait to get it. Yay. Melissa saying she loves unlikable characters. They're more interesting. Yay.
I'm with you
with that. And she's saying, hi, Melissa, so great to have you with us tonight. Mystery and Thriller Maven member there. Thank you so much. So let's talk. I'm scrolling back just to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Let's talk. Colleen is saying about that last sentence. And V, who is a bookstagrammer, she is V, the books addict. I'm going to plop her link in the comments. She submitted her question in advance, and she said she's got to know about that last line without any spoilers. Are you queuing up a sequel? What's the deal of that last line? Andy, give us the skinny.
Yes, I have never had, at this point, like dozens and dozens and dozens of people have reached out to me personally to ask about the last line. And it's really wild. And people really want me to say, I mean, bless you, you're just kind of saying, is this queuing up? But so many people say to me, what did it mean? You need to tell me what it meant, what the correct interpretation is. And it's very funny to me because, like, guys, I'm an author. Like, if I wanted the ending to be very neatly tied up, like, I would have written it that way. So I can tell you what my interpretation is, but it's very intentionally sort of left up to the reader. So what I will say, and this will hopefully be spoiler-free enough, maybe earmuffs if you have not read it yourself yet. I can think of at least 3 different interpretations of that last line. And I'm going to toss them out with a word or 2 for you to consider. There's a PR explanation for names. There's a PR reason to that might have happened. There is a sort of joie de vivre attitude reason, right? And then there is the reason that some people are really freaking out about, just really, really losing their minds over it and saying it's making them hate the book or it's making them love the book or apparently arguing fiercely. And all I will say is that I intentionally left it so that whatever interpretation resonates the most with you is the right one. Like, that is the answer. I will also say, like, of course, I have my own interpretations, and I think that there is an answer that sort of resonates the most with what has happened in the book leading to it, based on character choices, based on everything we know, all the facts before us. Personally, I got this question so many times that, quick digression that I think will be relevant here. A friend and I co-organized a online silent auction. It's called Authors for Voices of Color. It's authorsforvoicesofcolor.org or authorsforblackvoices.org. That was the name last year, so it's the URL. And over 100 amazing authors and publishing professionals are auctioning off really, really cool, exclusive literary stuff. We have stuff from Roxane Gay. We have stuff from Gia Tolentino. We have stuff from just so many, Ashley C. Ford, like so many incredible authors are just auctioning off this really, really cool stuff. I am auctioning off, and excuse me, all of the funds raised, 100% of the funds raised will go toward these 12 vetted nonprofits that are doing amazing work to increase racial justice in the publishing, education, and literacy arenas. So I am auctioning off a annotated copy of We Were Never Here And so I'll be signing it, personalizing it, and writing some sort of behind the scenes notes throughout. And I will tell the winner, and only the winner, only the highest bidder, my interpretation of the last line. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, you don't need to bid on mine, but there's probably an author in there that you love and they're auctioning something really cool. Check out Authors for Voices of Color. It runs until September 30th. And you might find some really amazing gifts or stuff for yourself in there if you're a literary lover, which I have a feeling many of you are, and we're really heavy on thrillers because that's where so many of my friends are. So it's pretty heavily weighted for the thriller crime fiction genre.
Amazing. So I just popped that popped that link into the comments. So Andy and her friend I put co-friend founded. Andy and a friend co-friend founded, which actually is accurate but wordy. Authors for Black Voices. And you can win her annotated copy of We Were Never Here with her vision of the answer below and support a great cause supporting this advocacy, this allyship. And Andy, you would do such wonderful work in that realm. And I just want to say thank you. You're amazing. And I love that you do that.
I'm still just, a white lady in it. It's definitely not about me, to be clear.
You're a white lady doing good stuff. And thank you for all that good stuff that you're doing. And here is the link, y'all, so that you can find out what this author was thinking and what that last line's all about.
What it's all about.
Thank you to Colleen and V for that great question. She is on Instagram, V the Books Addict. So great questions, ladies, and great answers. Andy, let's get back to the fact that Reece Witherspoon herself picked your book, raving. This book is every suspense lover's dream, and it kept me up way too late, turning the pages. A novel with crazy twists and turns that will have you ditching your Friday night plans for more chapters. Reece Witherspoon, Andy, you kept Reece Witherspoon up late. You did that. How crazy is that? That is so amazing. So tell us, what do you think from a craft perspective is the secret to creating that kind of tension, that kind of excitement, that kind of suspense that keeps Reece freaking Witherspoon up all night? How do we do it?
Oh man, what a question. I still, when I saw the photo of her holding the book, my brain was still does not compute. I was like, that's a tricky Photoshop job right there.
Legally blonde herself. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's somehow true. I will maybe someday believe it. I think the reason that this book, here's the thing. Hitchcock had this whole explanation. You'll probably have heard this, but an action thriller, I'm going to get it wrong, but an action thriller is some people are eating at a diner and a bomb goes off, eating at a restaurant and a bomb goes off under their table, right? A suspense film, he's talking about movies, of course, means that somebody takes the bomb, sets it under the table, walks away, and then two people come and they sit and they have dinner. And the entire time that they are having dinner, you are just crawling out of your skin because you know that there's a bomb under their table and they don't necessarily know, or you don't know what's going to happen when it goes off, but you know what's going to happen. So I think for this book, as I mentioned, my first two books, The Herd and The Lost Night, they were both whodunits. So they are psychological thrillers, but the sort of action is kind of behind us. It's actually a little bit difficult to build up tension and stakes when the dead body is already dead, right? And you're just trying to figure out who done it, literally. With this one, there's a very different approach to the whole thing because you're essentially cheering for, or at least following the story of the killers. You know who done it. And so the question is not who done it. The question is, are they going to get caught? Are they going to get away with it? And so for this book, I just had a lot of fun playing with both all of the external forces of, as I mentioned, law enforcement closing in and, the family of the dead dead backpacker, kind of become characters in the book. And there's all of these sort of external forces that are pressing in and making it scarier and harder. And then also at the same time, these two women who are best friends have very different reactions to this shared trauma and to this trauma bond. And so sort of within their relationship, everything is going wrong. And there's all of this tension of the two of them kind of going through perhaps a friend breakup or going through a really rough time in their friendship. But also they can't just part ways or have a big fight and never speak to each other again, because they need to trust each other, because they have this horrible thing in their past, right? They have these secrets and they have no choice. They're bound together by what they've done. And so for me, it was just a lot of fun, like playing, fiddling with the dials of all of the different sort of scary forces. And then also there's sort of this theme of like violence against women and women's safety, and especially women who are traveling, but even when they get home, like there's just, sort of this expected casual violence that we are very comfortable like seeing placed on women, whether that's street harassment, whether that's other things of that nature. So there's just sort of all of these different potential threats. And for me, it was really fun to play with just like throwing things. I almost like picture my characters like running through the road in a video game, and like now we're like throwing a boulder in front of them, and now we're throwing a bunch of arrows at him, and now there's like whatever a monster that's like clamoring towards them in the street. It's just like, what are all the things that I can throw in their way? And I think as a reader, it is really fun to be on a journey like that, where there's this overarching question of like, can they get away with it and be okay? But so many things where they could potentially, swerve off the rails and not be okay. And so hopefully that's just really fun and interesting to read, and you kind of keeps you turning the pages.
Well, it sure did keep us turning those pages, Andy, keeping millions of us turning the pages. And you did it so well. And I love how you define, you tell us, and I read The Herd, and I loved it last year. And it was exactly as you said, a whodunit. Who killed this body, of this female founder, left her on the roof? I had to know. This one was so different, and yet still so suspenseful, and yet we're cheering for killers, and wondering, can they get away with it? And hoping that they do, which is weird. Why do we want murderers to get away with it? And yet we do, because you did it so well. Melissa is saying it sounds fabulous. She can't wait to read it. Melissa, it is. You will love it. So grab your copy. I'm going to drop the link in the comments right now. And then, of course, you'll want to continue the conversation with me over in my Facebook group, where all the good stuff happens after the show. So join my Mystery and Thriller Maven Facebook group, and grab your copy of the book and support a woman-owned bookstore, you guys, y'all. I'm just realizing I missed some comments. I'm scrolling back, and Christina Powers is saying hi. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining.
And Christina is she is a bookstagrammer and a book influencer, and she is a politically read girl on Instagram. So hang out with her there. Susan would like to know, what 3 writers, Susan, I like this question, living or dead, would you like to have dinner with, and why?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
That really is hard, and also tasty.
I think I'm going to go with Jane Austen for my first one, because really any of the female writers from that era, because I just think it's so impressive that they were, turning out these incredible books in a time when, like, ladies weren't supposed to be doing too much with those like silly lady brains. I love Jane Austen's books, and I just think she's so witty, and she just seems like she understands like the human psyche like no one else. I think she'd be so fun to hang out with. So we'll go with that as a first one. I don't think anyone's ever asked me this. This is like a good party question. I'm gonna go with Gillian Flynn, which she's just the thriller author who like blew me away with her career. I think it's so cool that she wrote 2 great books, and then she wrote the perfect book, which was Gone Girl, and then she was like, and I'm out. And now she's writing screenplays, and she's like producing TV shows, and she's just doing all this cool stuff and like raking in her millions. And I am just in awe of her. I mean, I know she wrote that cool girl passage that we all know, but like she is a cool girl, like admit it. And I would just love to get to hang out with Gillian. And for a third, this so many great authors. I'm like, oh, I only get one more and I'm going to pick wrong. So let's go with, I'm going to go with Roxane Gay. I just find her so brilliant. And I think just sitting and like basking in her intelligence and just like having a discussion with her and being like, I want to talk about like feminism and like bodies and like what it means to be a queer woman. And like, I just would absolutely love to bask in her brilliance and soak that up, which by the way, she has donated a box set of all of her books signed and a 1 hour Ask Me Anything with her. So literally I could get it and maybe I'll have to outbid someone. So if you want to get a bid anymore with me, do it. But that is in Authors for Voices of Color. That is in the auction. But I just find her so generous and interesting and well-spoken and just has such like fresh and sort of mind-blowing takes on and explanations for things. So would very much like to take her out to dinner and just like bask in her brilliance.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so cool. Debbie is saying, what a cool question.
Yes.
And she said it's one of her favorite dinner party questions. Thank you, Debbie, for letting us know. Christina would like to know, would you ever write in a different genre, like your hero, Gillian Flynn? Is it Gillian or Gillian?
I thought it was, somebody told me at one point that it was Gillian, and I like clung to that because I was like, if I ever meet her, I'm going to be ready. But it really could be either. I could be wrong.
I will cling to that. Like your hero, Gillian Flynn, what other genres would you like to explore? Do you dream of screenwriting? Do you dream of these other of dipping a toe in the other realms, Andy?
Yeah. I mean, medium wise, I would love to eventually learn how to write plays and screenplays and scripted series. Radio, there's like narrative podcasts now and all this cool stuff. And I just, if anyone who's read my books knows that I write in a very sort of dialogue heavy way anyway. So it feels like it would sort of make, like I sort of see my books in a cinematic way when I'm working on them. So it feels like that would be a transition that made sense. However, I'm sure if I actually sat down to do it, it would be terrible because it would be the first time I ever did it. So maybe at some point, maybe I'll get like paired up with a mentor or something and I could work in other media. But genre wise, I do eventually have, I'm someone who gets bored pretty easily. So like, I'm still loving thrillers, but I know the day will come that I'm just like, this is starting to feel stale and I'll need to make some kind of leap. And so I'm really interested in horror. And I'm really interested in like dystopian or like speculative fiction, like sort of our world, but like something has gone wrong, like sort of adjacent to our worlds. So I guess still sticking within commercial genres, because I think like for me, having a page turning quality and like that kind of storytelling will never go away. Like I don't think I will write literary fiction. There's like a lot of things I don't see myself doing. But especially, horror and sort of dystopian or speculative fiction. If I had the right idea, I think it would be so fun to just dig deep in that.
That is so, so cool. Christina's saying she could totally see you doing YA.
So you would think that, Christina, but like I have never been able to figure out what makes something YA and not adult. And like, I have friends who do it and I read their books and I'm like, well, what makes this? And it's not just that the narrator is younger, because there are other books with young, I can't do it. I write the way that I write and I cannot scale down by age for some reason. I can't see it. It's like, I'm like colorblind to that distinction. So I don't think it's happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm living that kid-free life over here, and I don't know what those crazy kids want. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're up to. So I know I definitely could not dip a toe into YA. Yeah. They're strange and foreign breed. These children.
I'm like, I don't get it. It doesn't click for me. What makes something a YA book? So it would be very hard for me to write one and get it right and feel like I was nailing it.
Ooh.
But who knows? Never say never.
Patty has a great question.
Ooh, great question.
How do you handle negative reviews? Do they bother you or do you ignore them? Andy, tell us.
That is such a great question. God, I wish there's so many authors who are like, oh, they don't bother me. Like, not every book is for everyone, and that's fine. And I'm like, how are you so evolved? Like, are you just lying to me? And I think they're lying, because I think if you're human and not a sociopath, it hurts your feelings when someone says something rude about your work that you like poured your heart and soul into. Not even necessarily rude, but just like, says that it gives a negative review, which is 100% their prerogative. And I'll tell you, from a, rational, intellectual perspective, of course, some people aren't going to like it. It's not going to be for everyone. And I'm totally fine with that. And I totally respect everyone's right to connect with or not connect with a book however they would like. So that's the intellectual answer. But then emotionally, oh my God, of course it hurts my feelings. And I, try to do the things I can to protect myself from them. I don't read the Goodreads reviews. That's for readers and not authors. And I don't need to see all the things that were upvoted that tear it apart. And I don't search for my name or the hashtag of my name. I only see stuff that I'm tagged in social media. But really, a surprising number of people do tag me in their negative reviews. And then also, of course, there's the professional negative reviews, which, knock wood, none of the big reviews for this one have been negative. But with other books, like somebody didn't like it. And who knows, maybe they were just having a bad morning and it hit them at exactly the wrong time. And they hated it from page one. And like, who knows? In terms of how I deal with them, I kind of read it once and then stop engaging. And I, will sort of talk to myself and give myself the pep talk of like, okay, like, this is a good book. I'll remind myself of some of the other like really nice things that have been said. My agent, I really like and respect her, and she likes this book. My editor, this reviewer, that reviewer, in this case, Reece Witherspoon, which let me tell you, that helps a lot. And then I just like keep creating. I think for me, the biggest way to not overly identify with any one book, really, and everything, all the ups and downs surrounding it and the disappointments. And I know it sounds like I didn't have any disappointments with this book, but like I did. There were things that we thought would happen that didn't, and still stuff that, kind of sticks. The best way to move forward for me is just to be working on the next one, which is what I'm doing it now. And it sort of reminds me like, a career is long. You build it book by book and brick by brick. And just like, this is, there's going to be another book after this, and I'm going to keep doing it and hoping to learn more and improve. But yeah, I mean, it is really silly. And sometimes I have to make fun of myself too, when it's like, 10 people can send me messages saying they loved it. And I kind of quickly respond to those, oh, thanks so much. And then one random person in a random town has to say like that they didn't like it, and that I'm like, they're right, like that's the one that I'm like, that's the one I'm going to take in, like they found me out. So it's just human psychology. We have a negativity bias. It's fine. It's just my silly brain, my silly psychology.
I have the same question. Why are the bad ones so much easier to believe? Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing whether you're a writer or just a regular human. If 10 people could tell you look amazing in that outfit, that you're looking fit, you're looking strong, you're looking toned, and then one person will be like, oh, you don't look so good. And you're like, at last someone has seen my truth. Like it's so true. Why are the bad things so much easier to believe? Oh my gosh, it's so true. Penny, thank you for the great question. And Andy, thank you for that really honest, authentic, deeply present answer, because I also ask that question a lot. And when people say that they don't, that it doesn't get to them or they don't read them, I call BS. Like they're just
are they not human? Like what on earth?
Yeah, I am not getting it. Or maybe they're just more evolved than I shall.
Yeah, maybe they're more evolved. Hats off.
Hats off. Teach us your ways. Christina is laughing with us, and she says, "Oh, I think this is back to my thing where I said I don't understand what those crazy kids want." She's saying I think she's saying her trio adores us. Her 3 kids adore us.
She's got the cutest. She's got the
Yay. And Vivi, the books addict on Instagram, is saying she's here now. She has to work multitask because she's at work, but she DM'd me earlier and said she was going to tune in, but she would be at work, but she wasn't going to miss this. Vivi, it's so great to have you. Thank you for being here with us while you are at work. Christina would like to know any hints on that next one that you're distracting yourself with from the bad reviews. Give us the skinny.
Ooh, yeah. My editor was like, "This one you got to keep quiet about. No details until it's announced." And I don't really know when it will be. But let me give you some hints. So what I will say is that certainly if you like my, former books and their sort of treatment of complex relationships between women, I think this will appeal again. This next book will definitely be more of a queer book. I started writing this, gosh, I guess I started writing it around the time I got into my relationship with my girlfriend. And now I'm sort of, beginning to identify as a queer author now that I identify as a queer human. So there's definitely going to be more queer themes in the next book. And yeah, all of my books have really focused on relationships in terms of like friendships, complex female friendships. And this one should be, this one's very fun to work on because there is friendship, but there is also romantic attraction, love, and sex going on in this book. So yeah, whereas We Were Never Here, I think of as very sort of sweeping and, we're in Chile, we're in Arizona, we're in Wisconsin, we're up north. Like it has sort of this vast feeling to it. This next one is very, very, very cloistered. There is like a mansion and like stuff is going down and it is much more like kind of closed door and cloistered and claustrophobic. So
ooh, tasty.
Yeah, so it's very different, but very fun. I'm having fun working on revisions right now. And yeah, it should be coming out in 2023.
Ooh,
So
well, I saw you plot doctoring with our friend Leah the other day.
Sure did.
I was just jealous I wasn't there. Christina is saying, yay! She is so excited for this. Yes, we love everything about this. More queer voices on the page, love stories. We're here for it. Y'all, I have a surprise for you tonight. So anyone who buys We Were Never Here through Murder by the Book, if you DM or email me your receipt, I am going to share with you 3 secrets that Andy has never revealed to anyone before about this book. 3 mystery and thriller Maven secrets. You'll get it on a special mystery and thriller Maven branded sheet, and she has never shared these things before. So I popped the link in the comments. You're going to want to buy the book. A, because it's freaking fantastic. B, you're going to want to buy it through Murder by the Book because you're going to want the secrets. You're going to want the secrets.
Yeah.
Sharon from Minnesota says, you are a new author to me. Yay! Sharon, mystery and thriller maven. Great. Oh, top community member. Always great to have you. And she says she really looks forward to checking out your earlier books. Yes, Sharon. So not only are you going to love We Were Never Here, but you're going to love The Herd, which is when I met Andy last year.
Yes.
And it is a tasty whodunit. I know I should have had it. I should have had it ready. I should have had my all of my books by you spread out. The Herd is really good, and you will not see that ending coming, or at least I didn't. Melissa is saying she loves your title. It's very eye-catching. Christina is saying The Herd is a favorite. Totally agree, Christina. Let's go back to the title here. Melissa is saying it's very eye-catching. And Melissa, I'm not sure if you're talking about We Were Never Here. I think you are, or maybe The Herd. But Andy, tell us the story of the title.
Yeah. So We Were Never
Here.
I
think the cover too.
Sure. Yeah. So We Were Never Here was not the original title. When I was working on it, I was calling it The Visitors. And I liked the idea. My other one is The Lost Night. And I liked the idea of The Lost Night, The Herd, The Visitors. And, I felt like these women, they are tourists. And yet Emily is saying some things about sort of like visiting Emily, like the world of Emily, the world of Kristen, and it's part of their dynamic. Anyway, my editor was like, no. She was like, that sounds too much like, like speculative fiction or sci-fi fantasy. And I think she was right. And so then we had a long period of me just like throwing title ideas at them. I really liked the idea of the title, Women Traveling Alone, because there's a line, what they say about women traveling alone, with the implication of sort of like that means they make themselves a target, or they need to be kind of on the lookout. And she was like, well, I don't really get it, because if they're women, more than one, then they're not alone. And I was like, So I just kept sending more their way. I kind of scoured the book for lines that I liked, and there was already a line. I think it was maybe we were really never here. And so I suggested We Were Never Here, and my agent just immediately responded to it, and really liked it. I'd never had a sentence title before, obviously. But at that point, I was like, fine, if you like it, fine. And I took the really out of that line of dialogue. And then in terms of the cover, it was really a journey because the first images that they showed us that they had suggested for it they were really beautiful, but they were very sort of quiet. It was like two figures. It was like painted, and it was like these two women from the back, like looking out over a ridge and sort of like a sunset behind them. And to me, it looked a little YA, although of course, like I said, I have no real idea what the distinction is. It looked a little YA, and it just looked very quiet. And I felt like the book was kind of loud. I felt like there was like, there's like party scenes, and you're like there with them in Chile, and they're like dancing on a patio, and they're like, it's like this sexy. And so I sort of wrote this memo back and included an image from like Y Tu Mamá También. And I was just like, yeah, I feel like it should have this like Latin American, like bright vacation, fun, crazy, like sexy vacation murder feel. And my editor was like, sexy vacation murder, huh? And I was like, yes, that is the book you bought. That is the book I wrote. And so everyone like seemed to be sort of dubious at the time, but then they came back with this cover and clearly completely understood the assignment. And everyone immediately flipped for it. And I love it. And, it's funny, it sort of evokes like palm trees, which there aren't really that many palm trees in Chile, but there's just something about it that feels like vacation. It feels like you just want to step into it. And I'm totally in awe of, I think it's Sarah Horgan, the illustrator at Random House, or excuse me, the graphic designer at Random House who designed it, who gets all the credit. People give me the compliment, and I'm like, well, I didn't do the cover, but thanks.
Well, I think we should get sexy murder vacation vibes trending on Twitter. I mean, let's do this, you guys. Hashtag sexy murder vacation vibes. I think it could go somewhere. I don't know. I am loving the backstory on this. Thank you for sharing. And Melissa's saying she was curious about it. We Were Never Here. So yes, we answered the right question. Yay. Andy, the New York Times gave you earned a rave review from the New York Times. Tell us what it was like to get to see your work. I mean, lauded in this way. Were you like, yes, I've arrived? Or were you like, who, me? I mean, what was that moment like?
Yeah, it was actually, it's weird. Like you have all these ideas about how you'll feel when certain things happen. But my publicist had told me like weeks before, like, oh, I've just got word that your book is going to be reviewed in the New York Times Book Review sometime in July. And then as I got closer, I think she gave me the actual date, or maybe they thought it was going to be the week before. And then that week I like eagerly was watching online because they usually put them online early, and it didn't come, and I checked on Sunday and it wasn't in there. And then it was like, oh, it got moved to next week. Okay. There was another week, and I was just eagerly, checking it. I was just so worried because they also include books that have negative reviews, right? Like they do reviews. The fact that it's in there is not any guarantee of goodness. And yeah, like my girlfriend will back me up. I was just like kind of anxious about it and like checking my phone a lot. And of course, when I was going to go upstate with some friends and stopped looking at my phone for a few hours, that was when it came through. This review from the very wonderful and generous Sarah Weinman, and my publicist sent it to me. And honestly, my biggest feeling was just like relief. I was just like, oh, like I just like, thank God, I no longer have to wait and worry that it's going to be bad. It's kind of what we were saying about the negativity bias. I was so much more worried about it being good than like immediately thrilled or worried about it being bad that I almost like didn't even have that much of a reaction to the fact that it was good. I eventually, of course, shared it with people and shared it online, and like everyone else being so excited sort of woke me up to like, oh yeah, duh, this is like a big deal and so exciting and just amazing. So yeah, it was really just, surreal. Seeing it in print was very much like what is my name doing here kind of moment.
Oh my God. And they
Yeah,
were not
so
the only ones. Marie Claire raving, a page-turning thriller who's about two best friends whose annual reunion trip goes wrong, to say the least. One of them may or may not have accidentally killed a fellow backpacker, transforming their friendship as they once knew it. The LA Times chiming in with another rave, saying Bartz takes the idea of a frenemy to new heights. Yet another expert vivisection of female modes of communication and competition. Talk
I
about
did love
that
that one.
review, really getting into the depth of
Yeah.
the issues that you're plumbing and that you're really examining and diving into. So amazing. And again, also not the only one. Pop Sugar saying whether you're planning a far-flung summer travel or kicking it closer to home, you're going to need a great beach read, and that's where We Were Never Here comes in. So again, the praise has just kept coming. And y'all, I'm gonna pop the link in the comments one more time because you're gonna want to get this book. Again, for all of these amazing reviews and also for the secrets. So just email me. It's Sara@saradivello.com, or DM me on social media a copy of your receipt and I will send you the secrets. We're all here for the secrets.
Yes, they were very fun. I was very glad you asked me. It was like really fun to actually come up with some never before, because there's a lot of stuff that's come up in interviews that I've already said that was like, oh, that's like a fun fact from behind the scenes. But this is like truly, totally new stuff that no one else, I have not shared anywhere else.
Yay! Well, thank you for coming up with that new stuff. Christina's saying this sounds magic, giving us the magic sparkles.
Love it.
Y'all, we have time for one or two more questions for Andy. So if you have a question and you want her to answer it, get it going in the comments. Meanwhile, Andy, I want to ask you, do you have a favorite review? I mean, I'm popping up Megan Miranda's rave, Zakiya Harris's rave. Did you read one where you like, at last, I am seen, I am heard, I am understood. This person gets my soul.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty lucky to have a number that were really lovely like that. But one that I really liked, just because this is such a great phrase, and I don't have it memorized, but it was, I think, book page that said, something like an alluring, or, something with, do you have it? Alluring locales.
Yeah, I got it.
Line.
A terrific novel. I got it right here. A terrific novel blending the Hitchcockian elements with a touch of Patricia Highsmith. You know what? I'm going to pop all of your reviews in here, but more questions are coming in. I want to make sure we get to those. Christina Powers would like to know, what are you reading and watching lately?
Yeah. Great question.
What's keeping you up, Andy, as you're keeping us up?
Yes, I am watching White Lotus right now. I have one episode next, and I think our plan tonight is one episode left, and I think we're going to finish it tonight. I'm loving it. I think it's just so cleverly done, and just the writing is like very funny and perfectly acted. And yeah, there's sort of this slow ratcheting of tension. Kind of reminds me of Big Little Lies, where it's like not a thriller, but you know from the first scene, right, that like somebody's going to die. And with that is just bringing us into these sort of, strangling chords, getting closer and tighter and more intense. So I'm really loving White Lotus. I am currently reading Real Easy, which comes out in January. It is a thriller crime fiction that is set in the 90s. And it is about, I'm just starting it, but the writing is absolutely beautiful and everyone should be pre-ordering it. It is so intriguing and spare. And it is about a woman who works as a stripper in the 90s, and somebody is killing strippers. And so it's just it's written in almost a literary fiction way. And the author herself worked as a stripper in the 90s. And so she just brings this incredible verisimilitude to it. And so that's what I'm reading right now. And I'm absolutely loving it and just really highly recommend it. And then the other book I'm reading, I currently have 2 books going, is not new at all, but it's The Art of Doing Nothing? How to Do Nothing. Which is a nonfiction book of kind of like essays about just these meditations on, our productivity culture and how the sort of radical act of stepping out of that. And it's sort of changing how I think about productivity, creativity. Yeah, it's just really important reading, I think, for anyone who, especially as we're all feeling sort of like burned out and, this endless pandemic is really affecting our, some of our output, and that is affecting how we feel about ourselves. And so it's this really sort of zeitgeisty and perspective changing book for me.
Ooh, very cool. Thank you. Melissa is saying, as we can't travel from Australia right now, she can't wait to visit Chile and Cambodia on your pages, via your pages. Melissa, I love that perspective. That's so true. As Australia is on lockdown and many of us are staying home, even if we're not on lockdown, just to be extra safe. This is a chance to visit these places and to experience this culture there, which Andy does so brilliantly. I love that perspective. Vivi is saying she needs that one. Certainly, The Art of Doing Nothing. Yeah, I've never read
How to Do Nothing. I said that wrong. It's How to Do Nothing.
How to Do Nothing. Okay, perfect. Oh my goodness. Well, Andrea Bartz, I want to thank you so much for coming on and joining us tonight. Again, everybody, support a woman-owned bookstore and send your email or DM me your receipt, and I will send you the 3 never before revealed secrets about We Were Never Here, courtesy of Andrea herself. And I'm also doing a giveaway of this book in my Mystery and Thriller Mavens group. So, you want to join continue the conversation, enter the giveaway, and all that good stuff. I'm putting the link in the comments for that as well. So join this group. Andy, thank you so much for coming on. What a pleasure to host you. Congratulations on all of these extremely exciting, wonderful things that are happening for you. And I can't wait to see the movie produced by Molly Sims.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for having me. Thank you to Pelu for making an appearance. What a thrill. I feel like I had a celebrity sighting. But yeah, just thanks so much for everything that you're doing for the thriller writing community, and just huge thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. I mean, there's a billion things you could be doing, and it just really means a lot that you joined us tonight. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Christina saying thank you both. Melissa saying thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I will see you next Monday for #Mystery Mondays, because Mondays can be murder. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.